The right hand to the Pirate King, Rayleigh makes his debut in the One Piece card game. With the return of Whitebeard, both of these historical figures are the feature to the newest set, 2 Legends. While Rayleigh does make his first appearance in the set, it's more ceremonial since it's really just as a secret rare. Hey everyone, I'm Espira and I'll be taking you through everything you need to know about OP08 2 Legends. We'll be going over the new cards in the set, an exploration of the new archetypes and support for the old archetypes, and how all of this will play out in a brand new meta. I am trying something a little bit different here, so if you like this type of set coverage, let me know in the comments down below. Without further ado, 2 Legends is the 8th main set for the One Piece card game, containing 127 card types and slated for release on September 13, 2024. Of those 127 cards, we have 6 leader cards, 45 commons, 30 uncommons, 26 rares, 10 super rares, 2 secret rares, 6 special reprint rares, 1 treasure rare, and 1 alternate art Dawn. Additionally, the set also contains 24 alt arts of leaders, super rares, and lower rarity cards. We also have the manga rare, for which the one and only Rayleigh gets his feature. Rayleigh being a red card, however, does not indicate the themes of said color, as the red theme this time around is actually Drum Kingdom. With that in mind, let's jump over to the new archetypes. In OP08, Red visits the Drum Kingdom, Tony Chopper's snowy home. Chopper is at the helm of the archetype as a red-green leader, sporting 4 life and 5k power. He has an activate main ability that says, once per turn, put up to 1 rested Dawn each on up to 3 of your animal or Drum Kingdom type characters, allowing you to spread out your spent Dawn across a wide board. This provides Chopper with the ability to both establish his board on curve while still being able to activate abilities and apply pressure on earlier played character cards. Diving into the synergies, 1 Dawn attachment allows Wapol to neg a character by 2k on swing, and then gains 2k until the end of your opponent's next turn, making him a chunky 8k body. Hiking Bear is able to use the 1 Dawn provided to buff another animal type character by 1k for the turn. On 2 attached Dawn, Lapan can KO a 4k or less on swing, and Robson becomes a 6k rusher. While not directly attached to the Chopper support, Chess will neg a card by 2k and play a Kuro Marimo, who follows that power neg with a KO of a 3k power or less. Combined, they become Chess Marimo, a 5-drop with 8k power, assuming you have a Kuro and a Chess in your trash. The rest of the color is rounded out by general red synergistic cards that buff characters as well as some direct Chopper support. While not tied to the Drum Kingdom cards, Red does also gain the new secret rare in Rayleigh. This beefy 8k for 8 has an on play where you get to choose 2 of your opponent's characters, give one of them 3k, the other minus 2k, and then you get to KO a 3k or less. Moving on to green, the Minks of Zoe are led by Carrot. She's a typically statted monocolor leader with an activate main ability. Once per turn, if you have a Minx character in play, rest up to 1 of your opponent's 5-cost or less characters. The ability to rest an opponent's card is a staple in green, and as such, the Minx maximize on the color identity by making sure that the opponent's cards stay rested. This stun ability is accessible across the entire Minx curve, hitting 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7 or less costs. Taking advantage of these stunned boards, Nekomamushi gains Rush if the opponent has 7 or more rested cards, Rhodey KOs a 2-cost or less with the same condition, and finally, Pedro KOs a rested 6-cost or less on his own KO. Pour one out for the homie. Additionally, the Minx get access to Zoe, a powerful new stage card that can set one of your Dawn to active during the main phase, and do the same to one of your main characters at the end of the turn. This combos perfectly with Peckham's, allowing him to attack into your opponent while still being in active mode during your opponent's turn for the added protection he provides. Blue's card pool in OP08 is primarily Whitebeard support, though there are a few cards that look to expand on the Amazon Lilies. First, we'll be looking at Marco, the blue-red leader that serves as a bridge between the red Whitebeard cards of the previous sets and the new blue cards. This multicolor leader has 5k power with 4 life, and for 1 attached Dawn has the activate main once per turn, draw 1 card. Then, place 1 card from your hand on top or bottom of your deck. Then you get to give one of your opponent's characters minus 2k power for the turn. This powerful ability enables Marco to be a flexible and impactful generic leader, having access to cheap board control measures and cleaning up his hand. However, if we look towards the Whitebeard specific side of things, stacking the top of our deck enables a bunch of cards. Like Speed Gill gains the ability to rush on the reveal of a Whitebeard card. We also get to cheat out cards from the top of our deck, with aces on play, or you can take our king this early on's counter ability. Who writes the name? Finally, as a reward for playing a density of Whitebeard pirates, we have abilities that synergize with revealing 2 Whitebeard cards from your hand. Atmos allows the bounce of a 4-drop back to the opponent's hand, King Du gains 2k power, and Phoenix Brand will bottom deck one of our opponent's 6 drops or lower. Shifting over to the Amazon Lily side of things, let's get a quick refresher on OP07's Boa Hancock. This blue leader allows you to draw a card once per turn when one of your abilities removes a character from play, with the condition they have 5 or fewer cards in hand. With this ability in mind, OP08 provides the archetype with Ephilandra, a 3-drop with the ability to bounce yourself back to hand to bottom deck a 1-drop. Additionally, Shakuyaku balances hand size by forcing your opponent to discard if they are above 5 cards in hand. The partnership between the Animal Kingdom Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates uses purple to bridge the two archetypes together, as is represented by the two multicolored leaders donning purple as one of their color identities. With purple already having a deep amount of support for the Animal Kingdom Pirates, most of the purple cards in this set are Big Mom Pirates. King is also a black leader, however, and has a suite of cards to support the Animal Kingdom there, so we'll return to him in just a bit. Charlotte Pudding expands on the yellow Big Mom Pirates by introducing purple into the strategy. Ramping into 10-cost Mom, anyone? Life flipping is the name of the game for this leader, as she will flip 2 life on attack to ramp a rested Dawn. Continue this rapid acceleration with Katakuri, who will flip a life back down to ramp an active Dawn into play. If you're still finding yourself stuck with all your life face up, utilize Candy Maiden to flip them all back down and rest a 2-cost or less. Naturally, purple has access to a handful of Dawn destruction abilities, including gaining Rush with King, killing a 3-drop with Charlotte Oven, playing Cracker Soldiers with Charlotte Cracker, restoring life with Charlotte Lingling, and going up the chicken chain of Tamago into Hyoko into Neotori. Here, 4-drop Charlotte Pudding will allow you to restore a Dawn on destruction once per turn, alleviating some of the cost of these abilities. Finally, if you're in a pinch, lean on the power of the 4 Emperors with Kaido and Linlin's Secret Rare. For the cost of 10 Dawn, wipe out the entire board, gain a life, and burn your opponent for 1 life. Coming back to King, as we look at Black's OP08 support, this leader has an activate main once per turn. At the cost of destroying 2 Dawn, choose one of these abilities. If your hand has 5 or less cards, draw a card, or give one of your opponent's characters -2 cost this turn. King plays very aggressively with the destruction of his own Dawn to net advantage over the opponent. But before we take a look at the black cards that take advantage of his abilities, Black Marie in purple plays excellently into the strategy by ramping you by 5 Dawn, with the caveat that you destroy back down to the same number as your opponent at the end of the turn. A downside that can be managed by King and his aggressive usage of Dawn. If you already have a Kaido chilling on board, use King's ability to bring them in range of Kaido's activate main to KO a 7-cost or less and rip a card out of the opponent's hand. For additional removal, Who's Who will KO a 3-drop or less on board. The Animal Kingdom Pirates also concern themselves with cost of their own cards. Thus, we have Jack and X-Drake, who serve as an 11-cost and a 6-cost on board respectively. This provides them with a pseudo protection against abilities that target cost, and will open the way for cards like Jinbei to proc his removal ability. Finally, we take a look at Yellow. This time around, Yellow ends up being a bit of a catch-all color in terms of support. We do have Kalgara and the Shandorian support this set, however, they share the limelight with a good handful of Egghead and Big Mom Pirate card. Looking at the denizens of Sky Island first, Kalgara leans into the aggressive cheat play style of the Shandorian warriors. He does so by free playing warrior type cards on attack that have the same or lower cost than your available Dawn, and if you played a card, you also take a life. In this set, the Shandorians gain another Wiper, which on play will search the top 4 cards of your deck for an Upper Yard and play it. Upper Yard is a stage card from OP05 Awakening of the New Era that has an on play which will allow you to search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Sky Island card and add it to your hand. This allows it to not only net a card and keep your hand replenished, but also works with previously released warriors to enable their removal and play abilities. While not a warrior itself, Southbird similarly will look at the top 7 cards of the deck to play an Upper Yard, which really helps up the consistency of the deck. And that's it. The archetype gets a couple of other event cards, but nothing else really adds on to what the warriors do. As far as the Big Mom Pirates are concerned, Charlotte Angel will allow you to replace the top card of your life with the top card of your deck, and Charlotte Opera will KO based on your life total. On the Egghead side, we take a look back at OP07's Vegapunk. The leader can't attack, however it does have the ability to either play or add to life a 5-drop or less Egghead. This setup lines perfectly with the new trigger cards of OP08, including an ability to cycle 2 cards, to either KO a 5-cost, prevent the attack of a 5-cost or less, or just play a bunch of 5k and 4k bodies. Now that we understand the archetypes introduced in OP08, let's shift over to the meta and understand what the 2 Legends format will look like. Japan's time with the OP08 format had Red Purple Law as far and away the most performant deck, to a degree that some would argue was tier 0. Decks like Lucci, Enel, and Black Yellow Luffy could contest against it, but very much stood a tier below. That said, the global player base would be experiencing a completely different format, as Bandai has banned both Red Purple Law and Ennis Lobby. With the slowing down of the format, slower strategies can thrive, and ironically, aggro decks that aren't red-purple locked can find themselves opportunities to take advantage of this field of slower strategies. While we don't have tournament data to lean on, the expectation for OP08's top of meta is a mix of previous best decks with some rising stars of previous sets. Black-Yellow Luffy stands as a powerful meta-defining deck that was untouched by the bans. Nami can take advantage of the format slowing down to continue frustrating the player base, as it's likely to see a rise in usage. Reiju looks to fill the gap that was created by the banning of her red-purple contemporary, and is joined by the board control strategies of Bonnie. Though the deck has lost its stage, Lucci is still an extremely capable deck that will find cost reduction utility in other cards such as Ice Age. Finally, while not relevant out the gate, there are a lot of expectations on Blue Dofi once the starter deck support comes in a month's time. These decks are expected to be top of meta, but there is plenty of room for other leaders to mark their presence, with notable inclusions being NL, Katakuri, Corona, and Gecko Moria. So within that, where do our newly introduced leaders land? Well, unfortunately, none of them will likely come to define the meta, but a handful can play toe-to-toe with some of the bigger decks in the room, the ones most likely to find success being Calgara, Marco, and Charlotte Pudding. Unfortunately, Chopper and King aren't likely to stand out, and Carrot just gets outshined by other green leaders in the format that more flexibly do what she and the Minx aim to do. If we take a quick look at the secondary market, the most expensive cards of each category are as follows: Charlotte Pudding for the alternate art leaders, Ace for the special reprints, Black Maria for the alternate art SRs, and Nami as the most expensive base rarity SR, though followed quite closely by Black Maria. If you stand as one of the lucky few to pull a Manga Rayleigh, it is currently sitting at a roughly $600 presale. And that covers just about everything you're going to need to know to get started with OP08 2 Legends. I am so thrilled to see how our meta is going to develop in such a unique way with the addition of the ban list. If you dig these kind of videos, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.